Kenya has once again been plunged into mourning following a devastating fire at Utumishi Girls' Academy that claimed the lives of 16 students and left many others injured. The tragedy, which occurred in a dormitory at the Nairobi-based school, has shocked the nation and renewed concerns about student safety in boarding schools across the country. The heartbreaking incident unfolded during the night when many students were asleep in their dormitories. According to reports from authorities and emergency responders, the fire spread rapidly through the building, trapping students inside. Firefighters, police officers, teachers and local residents rushed to the scene in an attempt to rescue those trapped by the flames. Despite their efforts, 16 young lives were lost, while dozens of other students suffered injuries ranging from minor burns to serious smoke inhalation. As news of the tragedy spread across Kenya, parents, relatives and well-wishers gathered at the school and nearby hospitals seeking information about their loved ones. Scenes of grief and heartbreak unfolded as families learned the fate of their children. Many parents described receiving late-night phone calls informing them of the disaster, forcing them to rush to the school in fear and uncertainty. The deaths have sparked a nationwide conversation about safety standards in Kenyan schools, particularly boarding institutions where thousands of students spend most of their time away from home. Questions have emerged regarding the condition of school dormitories, emergency preparedness measures, fire safety equipment, and evacuation procedures. Government officials quickly responded to the incident, expressing condolences to the affected families and promising a thorough investigation into the cause of the fire. Senior government leaders, education officials, and security agencies visited the school to assess the situation and offer support to students and staff affected by the disaster. President of Kenya expressed deep sorrow over the loss of young lives, describing the tragedy as a national catastrophe. Messages of sympathy poured in from leaders across the political divide, religious organizations, educational institutions, and members of the public. Social media platforms were flooded with tributes, prayers, and messages of support for the victims and their families. Emergency response teams worked throughout the night and into the following day to secure the area, search for survivors, and assist investigators. Medical personnel at nearby hospitals treated injured students, while counseling services were arranged for survivors who witnessed the traumatic event. The cause of the fire remains under investigation. Authorities have indicated that several possibilities are being examined, including accidental causes and potential criminal activity. Investigators have been collecting evidence from the scene, interviewing witnesses, and analyzing the remains of the affected dormitory to determine how the fire started and why it spread so quickly. Reports suggest that law enforcement agencies have questioned several individuals as part of the investigation. However, officials have urged the public to avoid speculation and allow investigators to complete their work before conclusions are drawn. Authorities emphasize that accurate information is essential to ensuring justice and preventing future tragedies. For many Kenyans, the Utumishi Girls' fire brings back painful memories of previous school fire disasters that have occurred over the years. Kenya has experienced several deadly school fires, some resulting from accidents and others linked to deliberate acts. These incidents have repeatedly highlighted vulnerabilities within educational institutions and the need for stronger safety measures. Education experts argue that schools must prioritize fire prevention and emergency preparedness. This includes installing modern fire detection systems, ensuring dormitories have sufficient emergency exits, conducting regular fire drills, and training both students and staff on evacuation procedures. Experts also recommend regular inspections by relevant authorities to ensure compliance with safety regulations. Parents have voiced concerns about whether enough has been done since previous school tragedies to improve safety standards. Many are demanding accountability and urgent reforms to protect students. Some have called for a nationwide audit of boarding schools to identify potential hazards before they lead to further disasters. Students who survived the fire have shared emotional accounts of the terrifying moments during the incident. Some described waking up to screams and smoke, while others spoke of confusion as students tried to find safe exits in darkness and panic. Their stories provide a painful reminder of the trauma experienced by those who escaped the flames. Mental health professionals have stressed the importance of providing psychological support to survivors, families, and school staff. Experiencing such a traumatic event can have lasting emotional effects, including anxiety, depression, and post-traumatic stress. Counseling services will play a critical role in helping those affected begin the healing process. Religious leaders from various faith communities have also offered prayers and support to grieving families. Churches, mosques, and other places of worship across Kenya have held special services in memory of the victims. Community groups and charitable organizations have mobilized resources to assist affected families and injured students. The tragedy has attracted international attention, with organizations and leaders from around the world expressing sympathy for Kenya. Messages of condolence have highlighted the universal pain of losing young lives and the importance of ensuring schools remain safe environments for learning and growth. As investigations continue, attention is increasingly focused on the lessons that can be learned from the disaster. Safety advocates argue that meaningful change requires more than expressions of sympathy. They insist that authorities must identify any failures that contributed to the tragedy and implement reforms that reduce the risk of similar incidents in the future. Among the measures being discussed are stricter building standards for school dormitories, improved emergency response planning, mandatory fire safety inspections, and greater investment in safety infrastructure. Some experts have also suggested introducing advanced fire suppression systems and emergency communication technologies in boarding schools. Teachers and school administrators across the country are reviewing their own safety procedures in light of the Utumishi girls' tragedy. Many schools have begun conducting emergency drills and inspecting dormitories to ensure exits are accessible and safety equipment is functional. The incident serves as a reminder that protecting students requires constant vigilance. While schools are places of education and opportunity, they must also be environments where children can live and learn without fear for their safety. Preventing future tragedies will require cooperation between government agencies, school management, parents, and communities. For the families who lost loved ones, however, the focus remains on mourning and remembrance. 16 young students with dreams, ambitions, and bright futures have been lost. Their absence will be felt deeply by parents, siblings, friends, teachers, and classmates. As Kenya mourns, the nation is united in grief and solidarity with those affected by the tragedy. The memory of the victims will endure, and many hope that their loss will lead to meaningful changes that make schools safer for future generations. The Utumishi girls' dormitory fire stands as one of the most painful school disasters in recent Kenyan history. While investigations seek answers about what happened that night, the tragedy has already left an indelible mark on the country. It is a moment of sorrow, reflection, and renewed commitment to ensuring that no family has to endure such a loss again. In the days, weeks, and months ahead, Kenyans will continue to honor the memory of the 16 students who lost their lives while supporting survivors and their families. The nation now waits for the findings of investigators and for the implementation of measures that can help prevent similar tragedies from occurring in the future. Above all, the disaster is a reminder of the precious value of every young life and the responsibility shared by society to protect its children. The thoughts and prayers of the nation remain with the victims, their families, and the entire Utumishi Girls Academy